Good morning, coffee and drive time football. This is my 2002 season. This was the year the Raiders, last time the Raiders made it to a Super Bowl and were absolutely destroyed by a brilliant Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense. John Gruden had been traded to Tampa Bay. The Raiders proceeded to get directly to the Super Bowl, and Gruden managed to do what Dungy couldn't and get Tampa to the Super Bowl. And the rest is history, as the Raiders were just handled by a brilliant defense. This is, I had ordered a box set from John Turnbull, so part of that Drive Time box set was I wanted the 2002 season printed and packaged along with the fictional league that he has printed and packaged. And so these don't have the names and logos because, of course, John has no right to sell those. He can give those away. So 2002 season in PDF on the website probably has Raiders with a symbol, but because these are purchased, they don't have it. So for those who are wondering why it looks the way it looks, and by the way, I play the 12 drive game. So there have been some people watching that were confused by my last scoring game. I was using the 12 drive rules, but with the 14 drive teams. I prefer the 12 drive teams. So we check offense or defense, but we always use the offense's red zone. So this is my preferred way. This was the original way the game was designed. This is the way I fell in love with it, and I much prefer the 12 drive rules and cards. I love the simplicity and the focus of when a team gets into the red zone, can their offense get them into the end zone? That's just a personal thing. So I get it. There would be people who would want to see a defense, take over in the red zone. All right, so I'm doing a complete season tournament with my big sets. I rarely do full replays unless I just replay one team through their entire season, because I just don't have the time, nor will I have the. Very often, I'll burn out on a game and want to make a change before I finish something. So I try to pick projects that are doable, or I try to only do big projects with games I know I won't tire of. Right. So and that's just natural. We all need a break from our favorite games at times. All right, so anyway, we got number 16 Cincinnati Bengals at the number 1 Oakland Raiders. That is the first game of my tournament. I seeded all 16 teams in the AFC and all 16 teams in the NFC, and I'll play off down to a Super Bowl. So it's just a way of truncating the season. The problem is we could see upsets. We could see somebody like Cincinnati in one game knock off the Raiders. So it also makes it pretty tense. So, all right, the road team, and by the way, according to his actual rules, the road team should be getting the ball first. So road, home, road, home, road, home. I think that's how his score sheets go, but I'm going to do it that way just to keep everything sane. So Cincinnati does have a kick return. We're going to give them a chance, and they do not get their kick return. So I have checked their kickoff return. That's their one chance for the day. They have a brilliant punt return. All right, Cincinnati, the Oakland defense is in charge, and they're going to force a punt. I expect Oakland to win this game for sure, but you never know. All right, the Raiders go to work. Offense, red zone. So this ought to be the first score of the day. No, 12 TD run. TD run. Extra point for them is automatic. PAT, and Janikowski gets the job done. All right, Cincinnati, looking at their offense, 10 is punt. Cincinnati was the worst team in the conference, of course. Okay, the Oakland Raiders, offense 5 is red zone and TD run. So the Raiders with some domination up front. All right, Cincinnati, do they get their extra drive? They do, barely. So the Bengals defense 4 for the Raiders is punt. So Cincinnati gets their drive. It's forced to punt. And the Raiders, do they get their extra drive? Let's see. They don't. So they don't need it. They're up 14-0. Bengals 0, Raiders 14. And we're into the second quarter. Cincinnati goes back to work. Cincinnati defense 6 is red zone. Uh-oh, Raiders give up a red zone trip. And 7, they're going to throw a touchdown pass. Uh-oh, we got a game on our hands, folks. That's what I was afraid of. Their extra point misses on 11 and 12. Okay, Raiders, here we go. Raiders haven't done their kick return yet. I'm going to do it now. Now that they've scored a touchdown, we're going to try it. We need Snake Eyes to score. No, but the Raiders have done their kickoff return. All right, Raiders, here we go. It's going to be defense 10. Downs. Wow, turnover on downs for the Raiders. And the Bengals don't get to use that big punt return yet, thanks to the turnover on downs. Defense, Raiders are going to hold them to a punt. And offense, Raiders 8 is punt. Dang. All right, does Cincinnati get their extra drive? They do. Does time expire on Cincinnati? It does not. So this is a chance for Cincy to tie it up. Cincinnati Bengals, offense, 11. Red zone. Red zone 10 is field goal. So they get a field goal. All right, the Raiders, extra drive. They do. Does time expire? It does. So the Raiders get no points in the second. Are you kidding me? So 14-10. The Raiders cannot muster any points, and it is turned into a ball game. The Bengals are giving the Raiders in the black hole a little bit of a worry. All right, Cincinnati goes to work. They still haven't had a chance to use their punt return. Raiders defense, red zone. Oh, wait, Raiders defense, interception. The Raiders have an interception return of Snake Eyes. No. But the Raiders go to work on a short field. Offense 3 is a punt. Oof, come on, Raiders. You've been shut out now for a quarter and a half. The Bengals. Wait, the Raiders punted, so we're going to check. Oh, punt return 6. They don't get it. Wow, there was their punt return. That was very close. Offense for Cincinnati 3. Turnover on downs. The Raiders stop them as they go for the first down. Defense against the Raiders. 11 is a punt. Okay, does Cincy get their drive? They do. Cincy's been consistent today, trying to get as much out of this clock as they can against a much better team. Offense 5 is interception. The Raiders return it on a Snake Eyes. No. Do the Raiders get their drive? They do, barely. Third quarter drive for the Raiders is 11. It's going to be a punt. Wow, nobody scores in the third, folks. This doesn't bode well for the Raiders. You don't want to let bad teams hang around in your house. Holy cow. Okay, so we're going to start with the Raiders because it's more dramatic since Cincinnati's behind. So here we go. Raiders, what do they do in the fourth? Defense 8 is red zone. Defense 8 is a punt. Wow. The Raiders do not have a punt. They do, but we've already used it. Cincinnati's offense 8 is red zone. Oh, you got to be kidding me. 12 is a field goal. What? Folks, it is a 1-point game. The Raiders fighting off the lowly Bengals. Here we go, Raiders. Offense 4 is red zone, thank God. 11 is a field goal. What the hell, Janikowski? Oops, wrong team. Field goal. Cincinnati, here we go. This is nuts, folks. Offense 10 is punt. Hallelujah. All right, do the Raiders get their final drive? They might. Does time expire on the Raiders? It does not. So the Raiders with a chance here to add to their lead. Offense 7 is red zone, so good. The Raiders in the fourth quarter, it looks like they're going to take over. 8 is a TD run again. TD run, PAT is good. Cincinnati Bengals, what do they do in the final moments? Wait, do they get their extra drive? They don't. Never mind. So Cincinnati won't get it. The Raiders will score 10. And Cincinnati scores 3. The Raiders hold on. That was a little bit scary right there, folks. 24-13. The Raiders win, and they will advance in the bracket. Yeah, not good to see Oakland struggling with a 2-14 team. Yeah, that is definitely not ideal. But it should have technically shouldn't have been a struggle, but our offense couldn't muster any points in the second or third. We were shut out in 2 quarters in this game. We did our job on defense. That's good. 13 for us is fine there. We picked him off twice in the third quarter. Man, but we won. All that matters is we won. There it is. Raiders move on. So we advance, right? And they're done. 1-0, 0-1. There we go. So that game is done. And there it is, folks. Drive Time Football. The 2002 Raiders find a way to get past the Bengals in the first game of the weekend.